Hey folks, so the Mr. Olympia is upon us once again. It's actually happening as we speak, and I was a little late getting my predictions in for the men's classic physique and the men's open bodybuilding. So, there's been a lot of stuff. There's been a lot going on this year with regards to bodybuilding. There's a lot of really new faces in the mix. There's a lot of people that have pulled out for various reasons. I'm sure you've all seen the Nick Walker fiasco. That is what it is. I actually, just to get ahead of myself here, I only had Nick in fifth or sixth. Even at his best, I only have him in fifth or sixth because maybe I'm not a Nick Walker bandwagon jumper, but I never saw what everybody saw in Nick Walker. I mean, I find he's very, very boxy, very clunky, very his distended stomach. I don't see anything about Nick Walker that makes me think he could be Mr. Olympia, which to me is the pinnacle, the peak of open bodybuilding. I know in the past there's been some guys that, maybe shouldn't have won the Mr. Olympia title based on the aesthetics, based on the appeal of the body. I'm all about symmetry, which is why, Flex Wheeler will probably go down in history as the greatest bodybuilder, in my opinion, of all time in open, just because of the amount of muscle that he carried combined with perfection with regards to symmetry. Now, since we're talking about perfection with regards to symmetry, let's jump right into classic physique. I find it so hilarious how every year people, people want to find someone. They want to find someone to take over. They want to find someone to beat the champion. And I said it the day after Chris Bumstead won the Olympia last year. No one's going to beat him as long as he's competing. I've said it. You can check my videos. I've never balked. I've never wavered. Chris Bumstead will be Mr. Olympia in the classic physique division for as long as he wants to. Wesley Vissard. Now, Wesley had a great year. He won the Arnold Classic in Ohio. He won the Arnold in Europe. Wesley Vissard had a great year. But is Wesley the heir apparent to Chris Bumstead? I hope not, because the guy, he's big, he's got good size, got some good arms, got a good back, he's got some great body parts. But the problem is when you look at it from head to toe, top to bottom, it's just not aesthetically pleasing to the eye. It's definitely not what I would consider a classic bodybuilding physique. Now, do I think Dino? I think Dino has a better physique than Wesley. Now, Wesley beat him last year, so there's this big contradiction. I think the real show is for second place in classic physique. Chris Bumstead will win this. It'll be his sixth, and I don't think he's going to retire. Everybody keeps saying he's going to retire. It's his last show. I don't think he's going to retire. I think he's going to keep going because let's be real. He's only 29 years old. He's got a good 2, 3, 4, 5 more years in him if he chooses. If he wants to break the all-time record, he can. I think he can tie it with 8 or break it with 9. I don't think there's any doubt about that he can absolutely do it. I don't see anyone in the division even close to him. I think Chris Bumstead is so far ahead of everybody else. It's like when Ronnie Coleman was doing his thing. There was no one even close until the very end when Jay Cutler. It was at the very, very end of his career. I mean, nobody really truly beat Ronnie Coleman. I mean, he was just done. So it's the same thing. So you look at some of these guys. Chris Bumstead, he will never get beat. He will never get beat until he's done and basically beats himself. But Chris Bumstead will definitely win Classic Physique this year. Once again, I have Wesley in second place just because Wesley does look amazing. He's on point with regards to his conditioning. But I still think Chris beats him in almost every single pose. Front lat spread, Chris's legs, his shoulder to waist ratio, all of it. Wesley's got better biceps. That's it, the end. But I don't think Wesley has the package, just from a symmetrical standpoint to beat Chris Bumstead. He just does not. I think Dino has a better physique than Wesley, but Dino just had last year was rough for Dino, and I don't think this year's going to be any better. I personally like Dino's physique better. If he shows up in shape, I think it's going to be a battle between him and Wesley for second place. If he doesn't show up in shape, Wesley's easily going to be second place this year. I've got Dino in third just because of what's happened to him over the last year, because Wesley beat him. I think Wesley goes in with a little momentum, but not enough to take Chris out. In fourth, I've got Breon. Now, Urs and Breon, I think Breon's done. I mean, Breon states, going on video and saying he's going to beat Chris and win the clay. No, sorry, Breon. Your time as a champ, as number one. It's over. It's done. I think Wesley. I think Dino. I think even Urs, if he's at his best, can beat Breon. But I do have Breon in fourth because I think he's in really good shape going in from what I've seen. We haven't seen a whole lot of Urs. I don't even know if Urs is going to be top five. If he is, he's going to be in fifth. But I don't think Urs really has a chance of cracking the top three. Not in this. You've got Chris, you've got Wes, you've got Dino, you've got Breon. Maybe Urs slips into fifth place. If Breon's off, it doesn't look like he's off. Doesn't look like it looks like he's going to peak really, really nicely. We haven't seen a whole lot of updates from Urs, which does concern me because generally we do. But because we haven't, I'm going to guess he's probably not in the best shape of his life. We'll see. I've been proven wrong before. He had a bad year last year. We'll see how he makes out this year. Now, people are talking about Logan Franklin. Logan Franklin, yes, he's tall, he's big, he's got all that stuff. But again, I don't find his physique aesthetically pleasing. I think his physique looks more like Wesley's than Chris's. I don't think anybody... I get a kick out of people that come on, oh, this guy's the next Chris Bumstead. There's no next Chris Bumstead. There's only one Chris Bumstead, and no one's touching that. No one. He is genetically gifted with his size, his height. There's no one's touching him. I do think that Stéphane Matala from France, I think he's making a mistake by going into open bodybuilding. I was really, really excited. And if you haven't heard of this guy, if you haven't seen this guy, look him up on Instagram. I had him in the top 8. I had him in the top 8 at Classic. I think his physique, he needs work on his lats. He needs some work. But man, that guy had, in my opinion, perfect genetics for Classic physique. I think he's going to ruin his body. And I know I've read the story. I heard the story, that he was having a hard time making weight because he puts on size, puts on muscle. He was having to sacrifice muscle and in turn maybe sacrificing his health a little bit to make the Classic physique weight cutoff. Okay, but at the same time, man, that guy's physique was literal perfection. He really has... If you want to see a true Classic physique body, go check out Stéphane Matala from France on Instagram. The guy's a freak. He's a genetic freak, and I really thought he was going to make some noise in Classic. He's decided to go to open. I think he's going to ruin his body by going to open. He can't compete with his size. There's no way he can compete against Derek or Hadi. They just have so much muscle on their body. This guy's going to have to put on 50 pounds of muscle in order to even compete with guys like Samson. I just don't think it's possible. I think he's going to destroy that beautiful, aesthetically pleasing body. Going into open. I hope he changes his mind. I hope he decides to do Classic physique. But again, if the weight category, the restrictions for the weight to height, maybe obviously that's what he said. That's what's affecting it. That was his, what led to his decision to go into open was that weight cutoff. So, I don't want anyone to get... Well, there's a lot of people that are bodybuilding is not the healthiest sport in the world, let's be honest. But again, I don't want him to risk his health in order to go into Classic physique if it's too hard on his body, too hard on his health. If he thinks open's better, we'll see. Time will tell. But that guy had a great body. Great physique. Still does. But I think he would have done really well at the Olympia this year. I think he would have been top 5. In the open, okay, some controversy here. So I'm going out on a limb. I really like Derek Lunsford. I really like him. I think he's got an incredible physique. I don't think anyone has I think he's got the best back on the planet, bar none. No one's even close right now. But I think Hadi is going to win. I think Hadi is going to win the Mr. Olympia Open this year. I think what I saw at the 2 Arnold's, that guy, he was pissed. He was upset about losing the Olympia to Derek last year, and he wants that title back, and he came out with a vengeance at the Arnold's and just destroyed everybody. There wasn't anybody even close. And I think based on the pictures, based on the videos that I've seen, I don't think anyone's touching Hadi. I think Hadi is going to win the Mr. Olympia. Again, I think Derek is going to give him a battle, but I think Derek will ultimately end up in second place. Generally speaking, they say you've got to beat the champ to become the champ. I think Hadi's going to beat the champ, and I think Derek, even at his best, cannot beat the current version of Hadi. I think Hadi, if he comes in shredded, he's added some size to his back. He's added size where he needed to, and he's still coming in shredded. I think that's going to be trouble for Derek. I think Derek will end up in second place. Third place, now, I know everybody just automatically assumes that Samson's going to be in third place. Some people are saying Samson could even finish second. Now I actually have Rafael Branda. Have you seen the latest updates from Rafael? Holy smokes, that guy is looking incredible. He put on quality muscle in the off, like a lot of it, a lot of quality muscle, and that guy is looking incredible. And I think he is going to shock some people at this year's Mr. Olympia. If he comes in with that kind of size and his conditioning's on point, he may even finish third. He might be third. I don't want to say second. I don't think he's going to beat Derek or Hadi, but man, that guy, I definitely think he's going to beat Sam. Samson's issue historically has been his conditioning. We have to worry about size with Sam. Samson has beautiful lines, beautiful symmetry, lots of size, but he always has an issue with conditioning. And if Rafael can come in with conditioning with that size, I think Rafael is going to finish third and Samson's going to be fourth. Fifth place, I've got Andrew Jacked, just because, you know, he's got some momentum coming in. I don't think there's anyone else that can compete with regards to that kind of size, that structure. You know, he if he comes in shape. You know, people are talking about Hunter. Hunter didn't look really good at the show that he won, but he didn't look all that great. He'd have to come in much better, and even at his best, I got him in, you know, sixth or seventh. I think Baruz, man, I wish he would have got his visa. I know there's some issues with his visa. He's coming in from Iran, but Baruz, I had him in the top six. I had Baruz in the top six. He was looking incredible. The pro show that he won handily, and I think he looked incredible with the size and symmetry and everything that he had. I actually had Nick Walker, like I said, fifth or sixth, maybe even seventh. I'm not a fan of Nick Walker's physique. It just it does nothing for me. And I don't know what the hype's all. I know he's a monster. He's a mass monster, freakazoid for sure. But I just don't think he has the combination of everything that you need to have to win the Mr. Olympia. There's too many things distracting on his physique, and I don't know if he can overcome it. And again, I'm not sure what the real issue was. I saw Greg Doucette went absolutely ballistic about Nick Walker pulling out of the Olympia. I agree with some of what Greg said. You know, you're a professional athlete. If you're not in the best shape of your life, but you're in good shape, you've made a commitment to your fans to show up at the Olympia. But I think there's more to the story. I think more will come out later on. I think Greg went off, and I think it was a little premature. Premature he went off. I think that Nick Walker, there's some health issues there. I think there was something that went wrong. There's some health issues. There's some gear issues. Whatever the case is, there's something that pulled him out of the Olympia. He wouldn't pull out at that far out. Not that it was a long, long time, but surely he could have got into some kind of shape to make it and probably finish in the top 10. But he didn't want to be embarrassed. They didn't want to show that physique on stage. That's what they're saying. We'll see. The truth will come out eventually. I do think this really did hurt Nick's career. Not that, again, that I was a big fan of Nick's physique, strictly just from a bodybuilding standpoint, but it is what it is. So there's my top five. Top five in classic: Chris Bumstead, Wesley Visser, Dino, you got Breon, you got maybe Urs. That's the top five. I'm guessing the number one is for sure. Number two, number three is going to be interesting. I think that's the real competition. In open, I've got Hadi, I've got Derek, I've got Rafael, I've got Samson, I got Andrew Jacked as my top five. Let's see what happens. It's coming up in a couple of days. I'm really looking forward to it. Let's see how I made out with my predictions for this year. Last year's my predictions were pretty much bang on. See if they're still the same this year. Take care, guys.